2017 for the Nintendo Switch was arguably one of the greatest years for a Nintendo fan when it came to gaming. You had so many games coming out on this brand new system that launched in March of 2017. You had The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild right there at launch. You had a brand new 3D Super Mario game with Super Mario Odyssey that is arguably one of my favorite 3D Mario games of all time. You had other great titles as well, games like Splatoon 2, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, even had new IPs like ARMS. So 2017 was a fantastic year for the Nintendo Switch. 2018, maybe not so much. There were good games, don't get me wrong, but you had a lot of rehashes. You had a lot of Wii U ports with games like Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition, Donkey Kong Country, Tropical Freeze. Both great games, but both games I played on the Wii U. Kirby Star Allies was an okay experience. You know, it was a bit on the easy side. Actually, it was very easy, but I mean, it was still fun. It just wasn't a groundbreaking game. Mario Tennis Aces, once again, another fun game, but just sort of a supplemental game. It wasn't really until the second half of 2018 that you could potentially see Nintendo doing really well with the Nintendo Switch once again. Games like Super Mario Party, which has a great reach when it comes to local multiplayer. And of course the big two games, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Now I've never really viewed Smash Bros. Ultimate as a game that really moves a lot of hardware, mostly because it usually comes out around the tail end of a life cycle of a console. They usually sell very well, don't get me wrong, but I never really envisioned them being huge hardware movers when it comes to Nintendo hardware. But evidently, I was incorrect on this because the Nintendo Switch is now breaking sales records. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is now breaking sales records. So what's going on? What records are being broken? And what does it say about 2019 for the Nintendo Switch? Sit back, relax, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and let's talk about the Nintendo Switch, Smash Bros. Ultimate, and all these records that are being broke.
Hey, RGT 85. Hey, Sean.
Oh my God, it's Stevie Richards! All of this record smashing for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is going on all around the world. The first region I want to take a look at is Japan, because that's actually a pretty interesting region when it comes to how Nintendo sells things. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate managed to sell 1.3 million units in Japan over a 3-day launch period, which is absolutely insane. It makes it the fastest selling Smash Bros. Game at a launch in Japan. It's managing to beat out the 3DS version of the game, the Wii U version of the game, and the Wii version of the game, which the Wii U version, you know, whatever, like the Wii U sold astronomically low, nobody bought a Wii U, but the 3DS and the Wii were very popular systems. The 3DS has sold 80 million units plus to date. The Wii, of course, sold 100 million units plus to date, and the 3DS was a huge thing in Japan because the Japanese market still really loves their handheld consoles. When you look at the breakdown of sales statistics, the game's launch are 302% higher than the numbers for Smash Bros. For the Wii U, and 233% higher than Smash Bros. For the 3DS. And the launch sales of the game were actually 62.5% higher than the Wii version of the game in Japan as well, which is just crazy to me. Like, I can't believe how well Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is selling. When you look at Europe, it's the fastest selling Nintendo Switch game to date, and already topping the charts over there as well. But a lot of people had their eyes on what was going to happen in the US, because obviously that's a big market for Nintendo. That's where a lot of us live. So it was going to be very interesting to see how Super Smash Bros. Ultimate sold in the US. Well, once again, it's doing astronomically well. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate has managed to sell 3 million copies in 11 days, making it both the fastest selling Nintendo Switch game to date and the fastest selling Super Smash Bros. Game to date. So once again, like, this is absolutely crazy to me. I knew the game was going to sell well, but when you comparatively look at the user bases for things like the 3DS and of course the Wii, like, it shouldn't be outselling those things because those systems sold so much better to date than the Nintendo Switch, especially in the US. Like, it's just absolutely crazy how well Smash Brothers is doing. But like I said at the start of this video, I never really viewed Super Smash Brothers as a franchise that really moved a lot of hardware. I thought there would be a hardware boost, don't get me wrong. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But would it really be able to sort of make this huge catapult for the Nintendo Switch in all of these different regions? Well, evidently, yes, it has been, because the Nintendo Switch is now the fastest selling console this generation. From its launch in March of 2017 through November of 2018, the Nintendo Switch has sold more than 8.7 million units in the US, outpacing US sales of all other current gen systems at this point in their life cycle. Nintendo is also the overall top-selling US software publisher so far of 2018. So holy shit, like they're breaking all of these sales records. They're outpacing the PS4 and the Xbox One. Okay, the Xbox One hasn't been selling all that well, but the PS4 has been an absolute phenomenon. A lot of people thought that the PS4 was going to be an exception this generation with how well it's selling because, you know, console sales are dying or whatever the analysts like to say, but obviously they're not. If the Nintendo Switch is outpacing this system, then it's obviously doing something very right. The combination of games like Pokemon Let's Go and of course Super Smash Bros. Ultimate coming out right around the same time, I feel really gave a boost to the Nintendo Switch. If you look at the sales charts in Japan, system sales were up substantially because of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and Pokemon Let's Go. So it's really starting to sort of click for Nintendo, and it's really a good time because going into 2019, I really feel like the Nintendo Switch is going to have its best year ever in 2019. When you look at the games coming to us from Nintendo and you look at the third-party games that are coming as well, it's going to be an absolutely crazy year. Your wallet is going to be weeping pretty much every day you wake up because of course we did a video talking about all of the games coming to the Nintendo Switch in 2019. I'll have a link to that in the description box if you want to check that out. But just going off the top of my head and going very briefly, you have games like Animal Crossing, which is a huge seller. Animal Crossing for the 3DS actually outsold Smash Brothers on the 3DS. So take that into account as how powerful a game Animal Crossing is. You of course have Luigi's Mansion 3. You have the potential of Bayonetta 3 and Metroid Prime 4. You have the new Fire Emblem game. You have a new game with Daemon X Machina. You have third-party games like Town coming to us from Game Freak, which I think looks very interesting. You of course have Shin Megami Tensei. What's up with that? Will that be coming out in 2019? You have big blockbuster games like Doom Eternal, and of course the upcoming NBA game, and even a new Wolfenstein potentially, and of course Mortal Kombat 11. So really, this is like the perfect storm for the Nintendo Switch because I don't really feel like people thought 2018 was a great year for the Switch. I didn't feel like 2018 was a fantastic year for the Switch. There were definitely highlights, but there was definitely some periods where I was like, okay, I want some better games. You know, I want some games catered to me. You have all of these big games coming in 2019 as well. So it's really created this atmosphere of buzz and hype for the Nintendo Switch. It's a very unique system. Even people who don't usually like Nintendo are looking at the Nintendo Switch as maybe a secondary console to complement their PS4 or their Xbox One as they're able to play, you know, third-party games and first-party Nintendo games wherever they go. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is actually the fastest-selling Nintendo home console game of all time in Europe. So it's just this combination of Smash Bros. Ultimate and the Nintendo Switch is just absolutely killing it. And going into 2019, it's going to be a very interesting year for Nintendo. Are you going to start seeing more third parties hop on board? Could the Western third parties, those ones that you want, but you don't know why they're not showing up on the Switch with games like Call of Duty and of course Madden, will they finally come to the Nintendo Switch in 2019? I really feel like they might, because if they're not, they're really missing out on a huge market segment. They're missing out on a lot of people who would probably check out these games. At the very least, would want to check out a sports game like Madden, because NBA 2K seems to be selling well. I think a lot of people love football games, especially in the United States. But this has just been an absolutely crazy year in the world of gaming, and this really sort of tops it off for me, that the Nintendo Switch is the fastest selling console this generation. Seeing the dominance of the PS4, seeing how great the PS4 was and is still to this day, and the Nintendo Switch is managing to outpace it. Could it outsell the PS4 when this is all said and done? I don't know, but
I don't know!
I think it'll be pretty close. I definitely think it'll be pretty close. But let me know in the comment section down below what you think of all of this. Do you expect, or did you expect, a game like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate to move a lot of hardware and create this sort of hardware sales boost that Nintendo is seeing? Or were you kind of like me and you said, oh, you know, Smash Brothers is great, you know, people will buy it, but I don't really foresee it selling a lot of systems. And of course, let me know what you thought about Nintendo Switch in 2018 in the comment section down below as well. And thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. I know we've gone a whole day without talking about Soulja Boy, even though he's doing more stuff. Soulja Boy has already announced that he's like opening a store and he needs a distribution center. I don't know. I'm honestly kind of tired of talking about Soulja Boy. You guys seem interested in it, but I'm just sort of over it. Like, I'll wait for Nintendo to sue him and, you know, it create this whole big situation, because that's going to be a fun video. I'm literally salivating at the prospect of Nintendo suing Soulja Boy just for the video, because the fallout from that is just going to be absolutely crazy. But yes, no Soulja Boy today. So crank that in the privacy of your own home, and I will catch you guys on the next video. Later.
RGT 85! RGT 85! RGT.